Okay, great stuff. Well, welcome everyone. I'm very excited to see all of you joining us, as especially those of you that are in grade 12. But yeah, just my faithful attendance, the grade 10 and 11 dynamic program guys. I hope you guys are also getting everything you can out of this. Okay, so I'm going to get to the just a quick recap of last week, especially for those of you that couldn't be here. Last week, I was just giving a bit of context about what we are looking at. And we are this year trying to answer this question, who am I? But as a question of identity, but noticing that is not a question by itself that you answer actually, it's a combination of other questions that you ask, and that gives you and fills in this question, who am I? Where do I come from? That's the big question. The way you answer this question defines everything else. And just a brief explanation there. If I believe that I was created by a God, compared to someone that believes, no, I'm just created through evolutionary processes, there's no God behind the universe, those two people will have a different way of looking at themselves and answering the other questions. Okay, and we have come to the majority of students that were asking this question. Actually, all of them believed there's a mind behind the universe, there's a God that created everything, and so we are looking at the other questions with that backdrop. How does that influence the other questions, and how do I answer those questions? Those questions is, why am I here? What's the meaning of my life? Again, if God made me, then obviously he had a purpose for me. I wasn't just an accident. There's a purpose to my life, and finding out that question, why was I made? What is my purpose in life? The meaning for my existence. Secondly is, where am I going? And that's the question we are looking at this term. We're looking at destiny. We're looking at how I am and how do I actually accomplish the things that I need to accomplish or want to accomplish in life. And obviously, in order for me to know what I want to accomplish, or what my, in order for me to go in the right direction, I need to be knowing in what direction I should be going. In other words, in order to become who I should be, I need to know now in what direction should I be heading. And those two questions, meaning, the question of meaning and the question of destiny, define my purpose. Okay, and then there's the question of what is right and wrong. How do I define morality? How do I know what is really true, good, and beautiful? And that is going to be our last question for term 3. Good. And that again defines my passion and my potential. Now, last week I asked these questions: why do you study, and why are you completing matric? Like, what is the purpose? And I shared just a little bit my own story, is that everything that you should be doing should have a good why. And it's not so that you can get a qualification. It's not so that you can tick a thing. It's so that you can actually shape into the person that you need to be. So for example, if you want to become a doctor, you don't go to university so that you get the qualification. That's not the point. Okay, it's not the qualification that makes you a doctor. It's the knowledge that you attain. It is the skills and the abilities that you acquire that ends up shaping into who you're going to be. And so if that's not what you're doing now, in other words, if you're not currently studying with the intention of becoming the person that you want to be, you're just, I don't know, just adding like qualifications to your name, and what that doesn't shape you into who you want to be. They're just pieces of paper that tells you you've completed this thing. Okay, so having a complete different perspective on life changes the reason why you do things. It gives you motivation, and it's necessary in order for you to head in the right direction. Okay, then we looked at having a vision for your life, and everyone spent 15 minutes writing down what they would see themselves, what their life would look like in 5 years if they were able to look into the future and see themselves in 5 years' time and say, that is me successful in 5 years' time. And for many, it was difficult because you realize, well, I won't yet be successful in terms of how I look at success. It would be difficult to see myself successful in 5 years' time. And that's because we think of success more longer term, like, okay, I will only be successful in in, let's say, 15 years, when I eventually finished my degree and I'm working and I'm owning houses and what, okay, then I'll consider myself successful. So that was the next important thing. These were just some areas in which of your life in which you could consider what would you want to see in your life. But the big thing was actually to start redefining success. In other words, looking success not just in a way that is actually helpful, a way that you can actually say about yourself, today I am successful because, okay, so if I have a big picture of what success looks like, that's great, that's necessary. But if I can only achieve that success in 10, 15, 20 years, what is motivating me to get there? If I have a definition or understanding of success that is that I can almost attain at a regular basis, then I know I'm heading in the direction of being eventually the success that I hope to see. Okay, but and that was looking then at a way in which how we define success. So one question is, who do we see successful? That's another question you can ask yourself to see, how do you look at success? What is success for you? Some people might have people in mind like very rich people, or someone that is very influential on YouTube, or there's different ways of looking at that. And that will, the people you look at that is successful is how you define success. And that is how you, if you look at those people and you say that is successful, and tomorrow you woke up and you're not like that, then I'm not successful. And I'm never going to be successful until I'm like that. And that's one of the reasons why we need to redefine success, so that we can actually accomplish it in a more meaningful way. And so, again, if you are going to start with the premise that that God made me, that I'm a created being, there's a mind behind the universe. He made me with a purpose and with an intention. Then obviously, success is becoming everything that God intends me to be. Okay, so in other words, there is a desire, there's a purpose, there's a goal for my life that God had intended, and success is me becoming that. I'm on that road to be that. But regardless of how you define it, this definition is the one that I found most consistent throughout all the books that I've read on the topic. And this is one of the best definitions, I think, that is really just helpful, regardless of what your initial idea of success is, but rather that success, so in other words, that success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And there were those three things that we took from that. So success is, one is there's an ideal. In other words, there is actually something I'm striving towards. There is a direction. There is something I'm hoping to achieve and accomplish with my life. So that's the ideal. The second part of that is it's a worthy ideal. And I made the point that if it's not something that you're willing to die for, why are you living for it? In other words, if like literally every single day, you're closer to your death. So every day you live, you are dying, if that makes sense. So if I'm living for something, then I'm actually dying for it. And so if what I'm living towards, if what I'm striving towards is not worth dying for, it's so valuable that I'm willing to die in pursuit of it. If that's not the case, it's not a worthy ideal. You're spending your life, and from my story, I was explaining that initially when I was at school, when I was your age, I wanted to be rich. I wanted to make a lot of money, until my life changed, until God really intervened in my life, and I was into drugs and all kinds of other bad things, but still doing well at school. But that changed for me, and now I had a new vision for my life. I had new goals and desires, and now I'm willing to die for that pursuit, because I'm living for that pursuit. And money is not that anymore. It doesn't mean money doesn't come along the way, and I do not hope to be financially prosperous, but that's not my ideal. My ideal is something I'm willing to die for. The next thing is, and important there, is it's a progressively realized. Like if you could reach your ideal tomorrow, then what are you going to live for? You understand? Like, so it should be something so great, so majestic, and yet it should be something that you can grow towards every day. I should be a little bit closer. Okay, sometimes we have a bad day and we're a few steps behind, but that's okay. As time goes by, I'm actually growing closer. Even if I do fail to move in that direction, if I can learn from my failures, well, then I am actually a little bit closer than what I used to be, because now I know at least one way in which I'm not heading in that direction, or one way in which I should respond. So everything can contribute towards you actually progressing every single day towards that success. Okay, and this is then where we're going to start off today. So choosing worthy ideals is about setting goals, setting what I want to accomplish in my life. Before I go to the actual content then that I want to present for you, is there anyone that want to just to say something about last week, or make a comment, or maybe have a question, or share just something good about, yeah, about last week that's changed your mind or affected the way you've spent the week? Any little bit of feedback, you're welcome. I'll give you about a little while to respond if you want to. Okay, that's fine. There's someone. You please speak up. I can't see the screen, so just speak up.
It's Hannah.
Yes, Anna.
I just wanted to say that attending last week's dynamic program discussion has made me feel very confident and excited about my future. And even the way in which like I live my mind, and I have a much more like positive mind frame, and
Wow.
I know where I'm going. Obviously,
Mm.
like God has the overall plans for me, but I'm able to just like think about it and like plan and just be like confident about what I want. And I remember telling you like this last week, I was able to write like a whole 2 pages of where I see myself in 5 years. And
That's a,
I'm just very excited, very,
that's
very
it.
excited.
Oh, guys,
And
that,
like, and also like coming and attending these dynamic discussions makes me feel like very excited, and like I don't want to miss a week. I'm very, very excited to like learn about what you're going to teach us. And I really appreciate this.
thanks,
Thank
Anna.
you.
Oh, thank you so very much. And what I can just share is, we're going to get to a lot of things, but a lot of what Hannah is saying is actually already just visible in her life. And the one thing about what she says is she's positive about the future. And we'll get to that. We'll get to just how important your beliefs are, self confidence are. How do you build that confidence? But having that positive mindset is is crucially important. So it's so exciting to hear this. And one of the things that you'll notice now is just what she's saying in terms of her. She's positive about it. She's excited about it, and because of that, she is setting aside an hour a week to gain knowledge for this purpose. And so when you have a different mindset, when you look at life, when you're excited about life, you're open to learn, you're open to be instructed and to get advice. And obviously that's going to help you in some way. So yeah, so if you are, yeah, I'm excited when you say that. Thanks for sharing that. Good. Anyone else? Otherwise we get going to today. Okay, let's not waste time. Okay. Oh, yes, please go for it. Please don't feel like.
Yeah, so me about my side, I have a problem. It's like I'm losing confidence about my future. I'm losing identity. I think this is not happening as the way I planned. I think it's just hard for me now, right now. So if you can assist me, what I have to apply, what I have to do, to see things different than before, please.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. It's really going to help. But it's also a journey. It's a process. It's not going to change in the day, in a day, or even in one session. But what is important is it's no one else's responsibility to make a success of your life. Like, it's going to be your responsibility. And that is the first, that is really the first. The one guy I was listening to says he was 21 years old, he was broke, he sat behind his small table, working in a construction job that he hated, one night, And the thing that changed his life in that moment was when he realized no one is going to be my savior and fix my life for me. Like in the sense of like, not unless I make an effort, if not unless I take responsibility for my future and my life and make conscious decisions, it's not going to fix itself. No one is responsible. And so that's the beginning part of it. And immediately, once you can make that decision, you are empowered because it's not in someone else's hands, it's in your hands. So yeah, let's see. And it's simply just applying these principles that people have applied for thousands of years, guys. This is not new. Um, these are not new principles. They have been applied for thousands of years. I'll give you some examples today, maybe, of people that just applied it and it worked. And that's because of our potential as humans. We have so much potential. We don't begin to realize how much. So I'm excited. Who was speaking now? Sorry, again, I can't see the screen.
Lusanda, I think it was you.
Was it Lusanda?
I think so, yeah.
Thanks, Lusanda, for sharing that. Okay, let's get going because this is already going to make a huge difference. Setting goals. Okay, so guys, here's the research. Okay, so this is not pseudoscience. This is not just positive thinking is going to make things better in your life. This is actually what the studies show, the research show. In 1979, I know it's long ago, but and I looked at recent studies, and it's still very similar. But this is like the landmark study. Harvard study showed that in that year's business, it was in their business school. Only 3% of people in that business school had written down their life goals, like their goals, and then had plans on how they're going to achieve those goals. Only 3%. Okay, there were 13% of the people had goals. So in other words, they knew what they wanted in life, but they never had it written down. So they had, I want this and this and this, but it wasn't written down. And the rest of the people were simply there. They were there to get a business degree. They didn't have any goals in life. 84%. Now, guys, the statistics are exactly the same today. It hasn't changed. More than 80% of people don't have goals in their life. That is shocking if you think about it, because it means people don't have a vision of the future. They don't have something that they're working towards. How can you be encouraged every day to do what you do? Most people are what that means, most people are waking up, going to a job, to earn an income, to wake up tomorrow so that they can feed themselves and stay alive, to wake up tomorrow, to have a family, to provide for their family, like just going through the normal thing. That's most people's life. So if you just wrote down your goals, okay? If you just have goals, you are already in a different sector of people in the world. Like you're already set apart. If you write down those goals, look at the difference. In 1989, okay, that's 10 years later, they took the same group of people and they compared group B, that's the group that had goals, but they didn't write it down. They were earning, on average, twice as much as the group C. So just by having goals, things you're working towards, just on average, this research shows you are likely to earn twice as much as people that don't have goals. Group A, the people that had written down goals and plans on how to achieve it, was earning 10 times more on average than group B and C combined. Okay, that's massive. So what's the difference? Okay. What is the difference between these people that are earning 10 times more and the people that were earning 10 times less, I suppose? If money is a measure of success, I'm not saying it is, but at least for someone that's going to business school, surely that's a measure of success. What's the difference between those two groups?
Can we answer?
Yeah, please.
I think it's because when people have goals, they're reaching towards something, so they keep going up. where
Yeah.
they want to go. Where people who don't have goals, they're fine with whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah. So you know what? Is there someone else that wants to add a thought? What is the difference between those two groups? So in maths, something that's really helpful for me, just an idea in maths. In maths, and you find it in physical science and life sciences, you have these things called variables. Okay, so it's things that change. So these things that's different in my life, and these things that are different in your life. They're variable. I have a different age. I've got a different skin color, a different background. There's a lot of variables. Okay. You get two types of variables. You get independent variables and you get dependent variables. So dependent variable is something that you can't change it. Okay, you can't change it. It is variable, so it can change. Okay, but you can't change it. What you can change is the independent variables. So, for example, I have a bread baking business. Part of that business is, or part of how we bake that bread is the dough, when you prepare it, has to be in the fridge for 2 days, slowly fermenting. And the temperature must be between 3 and 6 degrees in that fridge. Now, that temperature is a dependent variable. I can't change the temperature in the fridge. Like, I can't affect the weather so that it's 3 and 6 degrees in the fridge. What I can change is the knob on the fridge. Do you understand? So there's a knob that says the degrees in that freezer or fridge that I'm using. I can change that. So that is something that's in my control. This is something that is affected by the temperature is affected by what I dial on the knob. And so the whole point of shaping a life that heads in a certain direction is finding out what things can I control. Now, one of the things that you can control is something you can do today. You can write down your goals. And the research shows that if you were to write down your goals, all other things apart, whatever happens, the probability that you would earn 10 times more than your peers is higher simply by writing down your goals. That's staggering. 95% of people. So this was now a group of people in business school. In general, just on average, 95% of people do not write down their life goals or has never written down their life goals. As a test, let's quickly see how many of you put, don't give me a thumb. Give me, I just want to unpin it. Oh, I don't know how to do that. Let me quickly put a poll. Okay, and don't be shy about it. I have written down my goals. Okay, let's quickly see. How many of you, just as a test, have written down your life goals? And please, just be honest. It's just to prove to you how many of us have not done it. Our name shows those results. Okay. Let's see. Answer that poll for me quickly. I don't know what it looks like on your end. How many of you have written down your life goals? Don't be shy. Your names don't show. Guys, you were amazing. Okay. I hope you guys are being honest, because you are failing the statistics here. How many are we? 17. We need more votes. I only have 9 votes. Let's see. Are you guys ashamed of answering? Okay. Well, I am impressed. Okay, Karina, there's a poll out. You must tell me if you have written down your life goals. Many of you in school, like part of the ALO program is in general is just to write down goals. So that is good. I just don't think people take it as serious. I never did. Okay, let me move on. I'm delighted about this, but probably one of the reasons why this is a difference is because you guys are actually here. Of the students, we've got almost 400 students in Alroy, and we have 17 people here, which means you guys are intentional about life. And that already, guys, is going to make a difference in your life. But yeah, the importance of setting down your life goals. You can go and do your own study with people that are maybe less intentional and see. My point is if you 95% of people do not write down their goals. Here's the rest of that research. Of the 5% of people that do write down their life goals, 95% of people achieve it. So if you just write down your life goals, and it's more than just writing it down, we'll get to that a little bit later. But if you just write down your life goals intentionally and pursue it, you are 95% more likely to achieve the success in your life that you have imagined. And this is, again, one of those things that you can take into your own control and actually do. Okay, why write down your goals? Why not just have them in your head? Why not just, so I speak to a lot of people that says, yeah, I have life goals, and they can tell me what their life goals is. Have you written it down? No, I know what they are, but why write down your goals? Well, first of all, it enhances your memory and your focus due to the process of external storage. So it's not just in your head. Many people have had goals that they actually forgot about their goals. Like when you later in life, they realize, oh yeah, I've always wanted to do that. There was one for me, like I actually just remembered it yesterday when, not yesterday, on Saturday, that I had this goal, but I had never written it down. So the one benefit of writing it down is there's external storage, like a USB is an external storage. Like here's my external storage. I've got 4 external USB drives. This is my daily planner. Here's my, I can't remember what that one is. That's not the one I'm looking for. My prayer book, my exercise book, and I have a book in which I just jot. That is my external storage. Okay, and that's why journaling is so good. You don't remember everything that happened in your life. Go read through a journal that you've been keeping, and it just reminds you of the feelings you had, the experiences you had that you almost forgot about, but it jogs that memory. Now imagine if you do that with your goals, the things that you're actually striving towards. When you write them down, they're externally stored. The second reason why I write it down is because, and guys, this is from, again, this is not my ideas. This is not from a book. This is from actual research, a research paper. The second thing is the act of writing itself helps to encode the goal more deeply into your long-term memory. You know how it is. It's always suggested when you study, make notes. Why? Because it deepens, it puts it in a different part of your memory bank in your head. When you write down your goals, it does that. I'll explain just in a moment why that is so helpful, to actually have it as part of your memory and not just something that's there, but something that's in your living memory, something that's something you can recall frequently. The third thing is the process improves recall and increases the likelihood of achieving your goals. And we've already looked at the statistics, just shows most people achieve their goals when they write it down. So the chances, the probability of achieving your goals when you have written them down is higher. Now, why is it so helpful when you write down your goals that you will actually achieve them? And so I just want to use a little illustration. So I might have said it last week. I don't remember if I did. But when something is in your memory, you are more likely to see opportunities and to pursue it. So, for example, I have the bread baking business that I told you about. One of the things that we need for that, because we bake the bread with wood. So one of the things that I need is wood. I am always in need of wood because we need to heat up the fire. Wood costs money. So if I can get wood free, I'm looking for it. So everywhere I drive, I see wood everywhere. How frequently do you see wood lying around? Well, we might drive the same roads, but you won't see it because you're not looking for it. It's not in your memory. It's not in your mind. But because it's in my mind, I'm looking for it everywhere. So when you have written down goals, when that is something that's frequently in your mind, you see opportunities to achieve those goals or to make progress in those goals everywhere you go. I was Friday night, I went to go pick up my son from his scouts. I'm like, because one of my goals for the bread business is I want 10 ovens. I currently have 1 oven. I want 10 ovens baking. So that was one of my goals for the bread business. And when I'm there, I'm like, this would be a perfect place for a bread oven. Like, before I had that goal written down, I've been at that place, I mean, not 100 times, but at least 50 times. And I've never thought of making a bread oven there. But now that it's written down, now that there's a goal, now I'm looking for places where I can build a bread oven. Does that make sense? I'm hoping you guys are pushing up thumbs because I can't see. Okay, so that is another reason. That's just an illustration of why it's helpful. When your goals are written down, it's in your memory, and you're looking, you're finding opportunities everywhere. Okay, now how do we formulate SMART goals? So goal is not just something that's written down that you hope to achieve. Most people's goals are wishes. They just wish, okay, that they marry a princess one day. Like, that's a wish. Or a prince. Okay. That they win the lottery. Like, I'm being silly, but most people's, and even I was even commenting on, I shouldn't say it, but on one of my wife's goals, and I said, no, that's a wish, because it's not something that, because it doesn't follow this list of SMART, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. A goal must be something that you can actually achieve, and here is like suggestions on how do you actually formulate a SMART goal. Firstly, is SMART is obviously a acrostic. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So I hope you guys are making notes. Specific, and again, because you should write down what you want to remember. Specific is it needs to be exact. So I already gave you an example of the 10 ovens for this bread baking business. I obviously have goals for Elroy as well. For the bread baking ovens, I want to get the business to a point where we have 10 ovens baking bread. So that's specific. I know what it is. I know I'm not going to answer all of those questions, but there's it's exactly, I know exactly what I would know when, and that's the big thing. You should know when you actually accomplished it. That's why it should be specific. Okay, so write that down. A goal must be specific. One example of a very unspecific goal is, I want to be a good mom. Okay, like, I hope that's everyone's desire and goal, but it's not a SMART goal, because, like, how do you know you've actually now accomplished it? So that's the question. How would I know that I've accomplished it? Be a little bit more specific about what you see as being a good mom. That's an excellent goal, well, an excellent virtue and ideal to strive towards. But what does that look like? Like, be specific so that you know what you're striving towards. Everyone wants to be a good mom. No one goes out intending to be a bad mom. But what is it? Be specific. That's the first thing. The second thing is let it be measurable. In other words, you should, because remember that the definition of success is to head towards, is to progressively realize a worthy ideal. Sorry, I messed that up. Progressively realizing a worthy ideal. So this worthy ideal is specific. I know what I'm going towards, but it is progressively realizable. In other words, if it's measurable, you can see how close you are towards attaining it. Okay, let's say you you have a very specific goal. For example, my my uncle, when I was at school, one of the things I wanted to become was a pilot. I wanted to become a pilot because my best friend, who was a girl who I was secretly in love with, wanted to be a pilot. So I wanted to be a pilot. And so my uncle, who is a very accomplished man, asked me one day, I was in grade 10, he asked me, so why? Why do you want to be a pilot? So I come up with the best thought I could. I say, because I want to see the world. And he's like, buy an atlas. And it just shocked me. Like, we have such shallow reasons. But that was obviously a goal. I want to be a pilot. Why? Because I want to see the world. But that desire is not measurable. Like, what do you mean you want to see the world? So okay, let's say that's true. Well, stipulate how many countries do you want to visit in your life. Okay, let's say you want to go to 50 countries in the world one day. That is a measurable goal. You are seeing the world, yes, but you can progressively realize that because you can measure how many have I done so far in my life. That's just an example. Achievable is it a realistic goal? Okay, so I want to be careful at this point because of what we'll do next week. But achievable should be something that is meaningfully achievable. So, for example, I want to be able to walk through a wall. Like, no. There might be some things I failed to actually think of good examples. One good example is if I, for example, say, no, I want to be a good mom one day. Like, that's not going to happen because I'm male. Okay, so that is not achievable. So things that are achievable within whatever is actually sensible, meaningful, doesn't mean you don't strive. Like, if you say, no, I can't really be the richest person in the world, why not? Like, is there a reasonable reason why I say why not? So I'm not saying don't be or achievable doesn't mean don't be crazy with your dreams. It's not about that. It should be realistic. It should be sensible. Next, and so hopefully none of you are stupid people to write down something silly. Okay, the next thing is relevant. You want to ask, is it worthwhile? I'm not going to go into all those questions, but just relevant. Like, is it actually a meaningful goal? Like, is it something that fits towards why God has made me, what the purpose of my life is? Like, does it add value to the person I'm going to be in the future? And that's why, for me, in the end, I wanted to be rich. And my wealthiest friend thinks I'm the richest person in the world. He's much more wealthy than I am. But I'm richer now because I didn't strive for riches. I didn't strive for wealth. But my life is incredibly full of rich things. My life is very full and rich. So if I just went for money, I would have been rich in one area. So to make a goal relevant to the person I actually want to be, a person, and I've mentioned a lot about that already. And I'll just start preaching if I go on. Okay, and then time bound is obviously a goal should have, you get different types of goals. You get short-term goals, you get mid-term goals, medium-term goals, you get long-term goals. Today, we're going to focus a little bit on the long-term and the short-term goals. So we're going to just now look at some life goals. What would you like to accomplish in your life? So try and imagine yourself way, way, way at the end of your life, still healthy enough to enjoy your achievements, but that is one way in which, like, you can actually accomplish it in a certain time period. That's just the question. And again, that's why something like I want to be a good mom is not a good it's a great ideal, but it's not it's not what we call a goal. So goal is something different. Okay, good. Now we're going to spend some time. So get my yeah. Oh no, look at the time. Okay, guys, we're going to spend some time just writing down some life goals, and we're going to give us 15 minutes, and that's going to almost take us to the end, and we'll have to then just go on next week with some with the rest. But I want you to write down some life goals In other words, try as best as you can now to think of yourself, of your life, things you want to accomplish with your life. Okay. Big picture, very big picture. And write down some life goals. Here are just 12 categories that you can look at in terms of what you want to accomplish. So here's 10 categories. But write down, thinking as far into the future as you can, at the end of, I don't want to say end of your life, I just mean with your life, what would you have wanted to accomplish? Some of them can be short term. So, for example, my first personal goal was to write down my goals because I had never done it. So, my first personal goal was to write down my goals. My second one was to get a vision for my life, just because I haven't done it. So, it doesn't all have to be only things you achieve in your full life, but things that you want to have achieved during your life. Okay, does that make sense? Any questions? Okay, so you guys get started because that's going to take us. I'm going to only give us 10 minutes because you guys are going to continue to do this throughout the week. Work on them, but I'll give more instructions later on. So just take 10 minutes so that we have a little bit of time left, and then we'll go on. 5 minutes. Hey guys, we need to stop here now. Okay. So here's the important thing, and I don't have time to ask you guys to interact. I promise we will have much more interaction next week where we will go on with this. But here's the thing about writing down your life goals. Just writing them down now, closing this book, and going on with life is going to make very little influence in you actually accomplishing these things. The last week we focused on having a vision for your life. In other words, seeing yourself, like literally envisioning the person you want to see in 5 years. And part of that person that comes up is the goals that you want to achieve, the things that you, so for example, maybe you saw, let's say you're someone that is, you're weighing more, you're overweight than you want to be, and you saw yourself in 5 years as someone that's fit and healthy, okay, then obviously one of your goals is to have a certain weight that you want to weigh, or a certain time you want to spend every day in exercise by that time. Okay, so having a life vision, a vision for your life, is made up with these things that you're hoping to accomplish by that time in your life. So that's how vision and goals come together. Now, the goals, the vision is a big picture of something in the future. Okay, it's something that you see that's not there now, but it's in the future. And almost think of it as a projection image. And then when you come back, when you trace that projection image down, there's a picture here at the bottom that is being projected. And each picture are each of these light beams that's making up that picture is a goal that you are in process of achieving. Okay, so writing down that goal is the beginning of that. Now the thing is, it needs to become a part of you and of what you want to accomplish. And one of the things I did now is I wrote down my life goals again. I have an hour every day. Okay, not every day, and not an hour every day. But in my planner, I try to plan an hour every day on my goal and my vision for my life. And so what I do is I spend time reading through these things, writing them down, making sure. I tried now to see if I could remember everything. I couldn't. Okay. But that is part of the exercise, is to commit it to memory so that it's there, so that I can recall it, so that I see the opportunities when they present themselves. So this is only the beginning. Every single day, and you have more time now in your life than you will ever have. Let me promise you that. You will never have as much time as you have now. Next year, you'll have less time, I promise you. The year after, you'll have less time. So make it a habit now to spend time every single day on dreaming about your goals, refining your goals. Like one of my goals was, for example, with my kids, I really struggled. I have children. I've got 3 children. And now when I was writing it down, so I don't want to go into detail, but I was struggling with having a goal for my family. And then I just now, while I was writing them down, I'm like, okay, maybe one of the goals for my family can be, I can help my children write down their goals. You understand? So initially it was this artsy-fartsy weak goal, but by spending time on your goals, you refine them and you get to understand a little bit better how it can fit into your life. Okay, so you guys going to make me a promise every day this week and for the rest of your life, spend time, take a day of rest. Okay, please rest on Sundays, but all other days, spend time working on your goals, refining them, making them a part of you. Okay, next week, I'm going to share with you a few like helpful things just in terms of short-term goals. In 1 year, this is what I want to accomplish. And the whole point is going to be, we're going to make sure that you set a goal for yourself that is going to blow your mind, is going to change your life, and more than anything else, you are going to accomplish it. Okay, so that's what we're going to do next week. I was hoping to get there today, but I was obviously very ambitious. Okay, so any questions? I do need to go. I've got a 1 p.m. appointment, which is right now. But any questions before we go? Comments?
Was good to
Let me stop this. Go for it. Was it Danielle?
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to mention that, like, writing the life goals is, I definitely need to go back and refine it, because I don't know what I'm writing here, but it's something.
It's something. That is the most important part. You've got something, and that's where everything starts. It starts with a something. Okay, so that's brilliant. You've got something on paper. Now you're going to go back into it and work on it, because it's literally your future you're working on. So well done. And someone else was speaking at the same time. Who's next? Okay, guys, of everything that I've read on the topic, this is one of the biggest things. Every self-help book, every motivational video you watch, every single one of the best motivational speakers in the world will emphasize the importance of writing down your goals, all of them. Now, all of them put it a little bit different in their thing, so it's really an important part. So I want to encourage you once again, go work on it. Don't take it lightly. It will change your life. I promise you. It's changed my life in just the last few months that I've taken it seriously. It's even changed my wife's life, and in good ways. Like, it's not as if we had bad lives. It just improved us and made us more effective. So we'll share some of those examples next week. But have a lovely week. Thank you for coming. See
Thank you,
guys
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
next week.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
So,
Measurable.
Good afternoon, sir.
Bye, Taylor.
Sir, keep up.
Did you
Sir.
Did you got it? Bye, Cameron. Ricardo, did you say something else, or did you just say bye?
No, just a goodbye, sir. Bye. Sorry,
Cheers,
there's a lot of
Ricardo.
noise at the moment.
No problem. That's perfect. Thanks,
Okay.
Ricardo.
Keep up.
Okay, cheers, guys. Bye, Karina. Bye, Lucinda. I'm going to sign off.
Thank you, sir.